Well, I'd be really curious from the sales side, what's the bridge? How do you bridge over that? How do you communicate to marketing and get what you need? Because from the marketing side, a lot of what I hear is, if I get asked for one more cut sheet with 4 words changed on it when we have 25 different versions of the same thing, I'm going to scream. So like, how do you bridge over it?
So one of the things that we're doing is we're doing workshops actually for developers and other people on how to sell your idea to your manager.
Oh,
and the
cool.
idea is, what's the outcome? What's the benefit to the company? What's the benefit to the team? What's the benefit to the immediate stakeholders? So that a developer, in this case, can sell his or her idea to the management team of why I'm going to make this change.
Okay.
I use that example because I think sales, when they talk to marketing, they forget the why. They're just like, I need this now. Instead of saying, hey, I have somebody who's stuck right here. And I've heard it numerous times that, why aren't you moving forward? Well, who else has bought this? Oh, I need a case study. And then marketing gives them a case study, and it's like, oh, I actually need a case study of somebody that's in hospitality. Oh, well, you didn't tell me that. Well, I thought I just needed a case study. So I think sales is so reactive sometimes because they're back to trying to close that deal that they forget that they need to take a step back and say, hey, let me explain to you why I need this. This is the outcome it's going to create. This is the value it's going to create. How can we work on this together? And I think marketing is worried, I'm going to build something that's never going to get used.
Yep.
So I do think that chasm is about alignment and teaming, but it's also probably about really understanding, and I always do a sales funnel from top to bottom. So it's like when somebody first enters the funnel, until they get to what's traditionally a sales qualified, and they start to get more like, why am I going to buy this? Why am I going to buy it from you? How am I de-risking my purchase? Okay, now I'm going to buy it. When people start to understand that entire journey from top to bottom, and they're talking about it in an integrated way, that's when I think it becomes more like, oh, that's why they need it, or it's okay to request this type of thing because I understand why and how you're going to use it.
Well, I think that I'd love to just touch on, because that was the first thing, and one of the first projects I started working on with you, of the weekly sales team and the meetings. And so the energy of everybody reporting what was going on, what they were excited about happening from the investment, from the the marketing side, the sales side, everything, so that everyone was hearing how they were affecting each other and like getting the full story. And so to me, that was like a huge piece, and which is part of the revenue equation, is that alignment piece. So
we had sales and marketing at our weekly revenue meetings or sales meetings. And one of the things, I know exactly who you're talking about. One of the things that happened there is we had the founders on the call, the sales team on the call, people that were kind of doing more PR and marketing on the call. And all of a sudden we heard a story about the founder working with this international supplier to create a webinar, and all this information came out that we hadn't gotten in discovery, and we had discovered 6 Ways Till Sunday. Right. But it wasn't until we brought people together and had this kind of intentional dialogue about learning and movement and what do people need in the buyer's journey that you got this jewel that you could create a magnet from. And then the magnet killed it. Yeah, it totally killed it. But that was, it was in the whole, it was in the getting together, the magic of everyone talking about and getting the full picture that, And those meetings are outcome driven, right? Because it's not only understanding what you're accountable for, but why you might not be achieving it. And then if you achieved it, what does that do? What does that cause? And I think that's the piece that is preventing companies from that's creating a silo, that's preventing them from being unified, is what does your action cause for one another? And when we work together, is it a 1 + 1 = 3? And I think right now, a lot of times it could be 1 + 1 is less than 2. 2 or less than 2. That actually touches on another thing too, and working with the revenue model and the value of it. There's also a tone that is set, which is of safety, which sounds like a touchy-feely word, but it's not. It's just an accountability that let's just talk about everything that's going on, everything that might be affecting this project. And that was with the client when we went to Vegas, seeing the candor and the openness with each other was really incredible, and how powerful it was. So
the revenue equation is definitely a tool to kind of set that standard of we're here to make this better together as a group, and we got to pass.
It was a roadmap of where they could have conversations. Yep. And then I think what that team did and what we did intentionally was hold that intentional space to have a series of conversations that all fit in a unique way, and allow people to know it was safe to say whatever was on their mind. And then these learnings came, and then we were all able to accelerate whatever we learned into knowledge that was actionable.
Yep. So well said. Yeah, exactly that. That is so well said, and that's the magic right there, I think. So.